What if the single greatest barrier to understanding anyone else was never about them, but about a story you've been telling yourself your entire life? A story you don't even know you're writing. We spend our days in a silent, desperate translation, decoding glances, interpreting tones, wrestling with unspoken meanings in texts and conversations. We believe this is the work of understanding other people. But a revolutionary truth, crystallized by the depth psychology of Carl Jung, suggests otherwise. The real frontier of understanding lies not in the mystery of the other person, but in the machinery of your own perception. You are not a passive receiver of information. You are an active and often unconscious storyteller. And until you understand the author, you will never truly comprehend the characters in your world. Let me illustrate. Imagine walking into a quiet room where two colleagues stop talking as you approach. What narrative instantly unfolds in your mind? For some, it's a thriller. They were talking about me. I've done something wrong. For others, it's a mundane drama. Their conversation just naturally ended. Same event. Radically different stories. Where do those stories come from? They are not embedded in the event itself. They are projected from the library of your past, your memories, your insecurities, the parts of yourself you have deemed unacceptable. This is the core of Jung's concept of projection. We do not see people as they are. We see them as we are. Our perception is less like a camera capturing objective reality and more like a painter, unconsciously using the colors of our inner world to paint over the blank canvas of another person. What you label as a gut feeling about someone is often your own psychological content wearing a mask. Your unresolved anger might be projected as that person is so hostile. Your suppressed ambition might be projected as they're so ruthlessly driven. This is the fundamental illusion of connection. We believe we are meeting another person, but so often we are merely meeting a reflection of our own unseen selves. So, is genuine understanding possible? Can we ever see past our own projections to the authentic human being standing before us? The answer is a profound yes, but it requires a shift from being the storyteller to becoming the editor, from being lost in the narrative to observing its construction. It demands a new set of questions, not to interrogate them, but to interrogate your own perception, and in doing so, clear the lens. Today we will explore a framework of 4 questions. These are not pickup lines or interrogation tactics. They are disciplines of attention. They are the tools of a perceptual artist. Master them, and you won't just get better at reading people. You will begin the most liberating work of your life, reading and ultimately rewriting the story of you. Part 1. The first discipline, locating the fortress. Our journey begins with the first discipline of perception, locating the fortress. Every person you meet is living inside a psychological structure. Some are open-plan lofts, full of light and accessible space. Others are medieval castles with high walls, narrow windows, and a deep moat. We tend to judge people by the architecture of their fortress. He's so closed off, she's an open book. But the intelligent observer doesn't stop at the judgment. They ask the foundational question: what is this fortress designed to keep out? What is this person's behavior organized to protect? This moves us beyond labels like arrogant, needy, or aloof. It transforms them into clues. Arrogance is often not a sign of supreme confidence, but a fortified wall against a deep-seated fear of being exposed as insignificant. Neediness is frequently not a bottomless pit, but a frantic moat digging operation against the terror of abandonment. Aloofness is seldom pure indifference. It is a strategic high tower protecting a vulnerable heart from the perceived dangers of intimacy. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear for the world. But behind the mask is the ego, and the ego's primary function is not to express, but to preserve itself. It builds defenses. Your first task in understanding anyone is to become a quiet archaeologist of those defenses. Don't look at what they are presenting. Infer what they are defending against. Consider the archetype of the perpetual helper, the person who is always there for everyone, who sacrifices their needs, who seems to derive their entire identity from being indispensable. If you view this only as kindness, you miss the depth. Ask, what is this fortress of helpfulness protecting? Often it guards against a terrifying sense of worthlessness if one were not needed. It defends against the existential question, who am I if I am not of use? Their behavior is not merely action. It is a silent, desperate argument against an inner conviction of irrelevance. I worked with a man once, a brilliant lawyer, feared in the courtroom for his aggressive, dismantling cross-examinations. In social settings, he was similarly combative, turning casual debates into battles to be won. People found him exhausting, intimidating. The easy story was jerk, egoist. But when you applied the first discipline, what is he protecting? A heartbreaking clarity emerged. His entire personality was a preemptive strike. His fortress of aggression was built to protect a core belief, forged in a childhood of constant humiliation, that he was inherently weak and would be crushed if he ever showed vulnerability. His attack was his best and only form of defense. Seeing this doesn't obligate you to tolerate abuse, but it changes the experience from one of personal affront to one of witnessing a profound human tragedy. Your response can shift from reactive anger to grounded, compassionate boundary setting. Practice this. When you encounter a pattern of behavior that confuses or triggers you, pause, mentally step back, look at the structure of their actions. Ask, if this behavior is a wall, what's on the other side that's so dangerous? This simple shift in perspective is the first step out of the story you're telling and into the reality they are living. Part 2. The second discipline, listening to the echo. Having learned to identify the fortress, we now train our ear for its history. This is the second discipline, listening to the echo. Human emotions in the present are rarely pure reactions to the present moment. They are often echoes. The loud, sharp sound you hear is not the originating event. It's the reverberation of something older, something that happened in the caverns of their personal history. An insult today echoes a childhood of belittlement. A betrayal today echoes an original wound of abandonment. A feeling of being overlooked today echoes a lifetime of fighting for visibility. Therefore, the second critical question is, where is the old pain speaking from? Anger, sadness, anxiety. These are not just moods, they are messengers. And often, the message is, this current situation feels dangerously similar to a place where I was deeply hurt before. The psyche has an impeccable, if not always accurate, memory for pain. When it detects a pattern that remotely resembles a past injury, it sounds the alarm. The emotion you witness is that alarm bell. A person who dissolves into tears at mild feedback isn't necessarily overly sensitive. You may be hearing the echo of a past where mistakes were met not with guidance, but with wrath or withdrawal of love. Their present tears are the past's child crying again. A partner who becomes intensely jealous and controlling isn't just possessive. You may be listening to the echo of a foundational betrayal that shattered their trust in security itself. Their control is a frantic attempt to dam up a river of old fear. This discipline requires you to become a historian of the heart. You listen not just to the content of the emotion, but for its vintage. Is this a fresh situational frustration, or does it have the rich, complex, sometimes musty texture of a decades-old wound? I recall a woman in a leadership role who was renowned for her meticulous, almost punishing standards. Any deviation from process in her team would trigger a cold, seething critique that felt vastly disproportionate to the error. The team saw a perfectionist tyrant, but when we listened for the echo, a different story emerged. She was the daughter of immigrants who lost everything due to one small legal oversight. In her family's mythology, a single mistake could lead to total ruin. Her present-day cold fury wasn't about the spreadsheet error. It was the terrified echo of a little girl who learned that the world is merciless and order is the only thing standing between you and catastrophe. Understanding this didn't make her behavior acceptable, but it made it comprehensible. It allowed her team to address the fear behind the fury, rather than just battling the fury itself. When you master this discipline, you stop taking emotional reactions at face value. You develop a profound patience. You begin to hear the biography in the outburst. This doesn't mean you become a therapist for everyone you meet. It means you stop being an enemy in their old war and can instead become a neutral or even compassionate observer. You realize this isn't really about me. This is about a ghost from their past that I've inadvertently reminded them of. That realization is a superpower for maintaining your own peace and offering true empathy. Part 3, the third discipline, the test of the invisible. Now we move to the most revealing litmus test of character, one that operates in the absence of all social theater. The third discipline, the test of the invisible. Character is not reliably revealed in spotlight moments, accepting awards, giving speeches, performing under pressure. These are rehearsed arenas where the persona is fully deployed. Character is revealed in shadowed, unrehearsed moments, specifically in how a person relates to those who occupy the social shadows, those who cannot offer them anything. Thus, the third essential question is, how do they treat those who have no capacity to benefit them? How does someone speak to the waiter who is flustered? What is their demeanor with the receptionist, the taxi driver, the person asking for directions on the street? How do they speak about people who are not in the room, who hold no power? In these moments, the mask often slips. There is no reward for performance, no punishment for its absence. What flows forth is the instinctual self. Jungian psychology ties this directly to the concept of the shadow, the repository of all the traits we deem unacceptable, weak, or inferior. Our relationship with others' low status is a direct mirror of our relationship with our own low-status inner parts. If we have contempt for our own vulnerability, we will likely exhibit contempt, however subtle, for vulnerability in others. If we have made peace with our own helplessness, we will meet it in others with a natural, unforced kindness. This test strips away the veneer of virtue. A person can give moving speeches about equality and yet betray a subtle impatience with those who serve them. That impatience is the truth. Another may say very little about their morals, yet you consistently observe a gentle, respectful attention paid to every person they interact with, regardless of role. That attention is the truth. Consider two managers. Manager A is charismatic, publicly praises his team, and talks a great game about family. But in the elevator with a junior intern from another department, he is on his phone, doesn't acknowledge her greeting, and lets the door close in her face. Manager B is quieter, less flashy, but you notice she always learns the names of the cleaning staff, asks about their families, and thanks the delivery person sincerely. Who would you trust with your vulnerability? The test of the invisible has already told you. This principle is beautifully illustrated in the concept of noblesse oblige, the obligation of those with privilege to act with honor and generosity. But true nobility of character, in the psychological sense, isn't an obligation felt by the privileged. It is an innate quality of the integrated. It is what happens when a person has stopped fighting a civil war within themselves, between their strong and weak parts. There is no one left within them to look down upon. Therefore, they cannot genuinely look down on anyone else. Make this a practice. Cultivate peripheral vision for character. Watch the interactions that nobody else is watching. Listen for the tone used when speaking to someone who can't fight back. This will give you more reliable data about a person's soul than any resume, title, or curated social media profile ever could. Part 4. The fourth discipline, the mere inquiry. We have 3 disciplines directed outward: locating the fortress, listening to the echo, and administering the test of the invisible. But these are ultimately preparatory. They clear the external noise. The master discipline, the one that leads to true transformation, is internal. This is the 4th discipline, the mere inquiry. After you have observed, after you have listened, after you have noted your reactions, you must ask the pivotal, often uncomfortable question: what is this showing me about myself? This is the conscious, deliberate engagement with projection. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The mere inquiry is the practical application of that wisdom. It is the decision to use every strong reaction, every spark of irritation, every pulse of admiration, every cloud of discomfort as a diagnostic tool for your own inner world. The process is deceptively simple yet profoundly challenging. When you feel a sharp judgment arise, they are so irresponsible. You pause. You turn the statement inward. You ask, where am I irresponsible? Or where do I fear being seen as irresponsible? The judgment often points to a trait you have disowned in yourself, a part of your shadow you are trying to exile by spotting it in others. Conversely, when you feel a magnetic attraction or deep admiration, they are so freely creative. You pause again. You ask, what creative part of me is longing for expression? The admiration often points to a latent potential within you that you have not yet given permission to flourish. We are not islands. We are resonant chambers. Other people strike us, and we ring at a certain frequency. The note we sound tells us about our own construction. The person who triggers your anger is not creating anger in you. They are striking a chord that already exists, a chord of unresolved injustice or frustrated power within you. The person who inspires your peace is not giving you peace. They are creating conditions where your own latent capacity for peace can finally resonate. Let's make this concrete with a personal reflection. For a long time, I had a pattern of feeling intensely annoyed by people I perceived as flaky or non-committal. My story was that I valued reliability, and they were failing a basic social contract. But during my own mere inquiry, I had to ask, what is this really showing me? I discovered it was mirroring my own deep unconscious anxiety about chaos and lack of control. My rigid adherence to plans was a defense against an inner terror of life's inherent unpredictability. The flaky person was unconsciously holding up a mirror to my own rigidity and the fear that fueled it. They were my shadow teachers. When I saw this, my irritation didn't just vanish, but it lost its sting and its power over me. I could choose my response rather than being hijacked by a reaction. This discipline turns your life into a walking, talking therapy session. Every encounter becomes a potential revelation. That difficult relative isn't just a problem, They are a precise indicator of where your own boundaries are fuzzy or where an old childhood dynamic remains unresolved. The colleague you envy is not just a rival. They are a mirror, showing you a version of success you haven't yet claimed for yourself. Integration, the art of clear perception. We have traveled through 4 disciplines of perception. Let's weave them together into a single, fluid practice, the art of clear perception. True understanding is not a linear interrogation, but a circular process of observation and reflection. It looks like this. You meet someone. Their behavior presents itself. Perhaps it's a defensive arrogance. First, you locate the fortress. You internally note, this arrogance seems designed to protect against a fear of being seen as small or incompetent. You have moved from judgment to hypothesis. Next, you listen for the echo. You observe the situations that trigger this arrogance. Is it when their expertise is questioned? When someone else succeeds? You listen for the historical pain. This may echo an experience where they were deeply shamed for not knowing. Then, you administer the test of the invisible when the opportunity arises. You watch how they treat the intern, the assistant, the stranger. Does their arrogance magnify, or does it drop away? This reveals whether the behavior is a pervasive character stance or a specific defense tied to threat. Throughout this process, you are simultaneously engaged in the mirror inquiry. Does my own reaction to their arrogance, my annoyance, my intimidation point to a place where I fear being seen as incompetent, or where I am judgmental of my own moments of boastfulness? This keeps you honest and grounded, preventing you from falling into a superior, I have them figured out mindset. The goal of this integrated practice is not to amass secret dossiers on people. The goal is twofold. Externally, it allows you to interact with reality, not your projection of it. You can respond to the actual person and their deeper needs or fears, rather than to your own triggered story. This leads to more effective communication, deeper compassion, and wiser relationship choices. Internally, and more importantly, this practice is the engine of individuation, Jung's term for the process of becoming a whole, integrated individual. Every time you reclaim a projection, you bring a lost piece of yourself home. You integrate a part of your shadow. Your inner world becomes less fractured, more spacious. As this happens, a miracle occurs. The outer world seems to change. People become less triggering. Relationships become less fraught. This isn't because they have changed. It's because you have. Your lens has become clearer. You realize that the lifelong quest to understand others was, in truth, a disguised quest to understand yourself. And in understanding yourself, you find you have developed a quiet, profound capacity to understand anyone, because you now speak the universal language of human vulnerability, fear, and the longing to be seen. You are no longer just reading minds. You are learning to read the human soul, beginning